Worthing FC TV with Chris Agutter following tonight's defeat in the playoffs at home to Maidstone. Aggie, just your thoughts on that?
Gutted. Absolutely gutted. Yeah, if I reflect on the game, it's obviously a rash tackle, cheap turnover, then a rash tackle, and then obviously we're throwing the kitchen sink at it. Sloppy pass, get countered, another penalty. So very competitive game between two closely matched teams. I felt we got into the final third pretty consistently throughout. Got in some really decent attacking positions. Felt we lacked punch up front. And they were always a threat on the counter-attack. I mean, Aaron Blair, Jesus Christ, he's a handful. Just turned so many clearances into unbelievable passes. So that, yeah, they were always most dangerous when we had the ball, which is reflected by the fact that both their penalties come from counter-attack. So for all the possession that we had, territory in the second half, didn't work the goalkeeper anywhere near enough. As I said, lacked punch in forward areas. Yeah, I think that's as much as I can say about the game, really. Yeah, that it just obviously gutted about the outcome. You know, to less than 2 weeks ago be top, and then within 2 weeks you're done. Feeling a million miles away from it is incredibly. It's an incredibly difficult pill to swallow. It's really tough, and I think it's. I feel the players deserve better, but you know, there'll be obviously differences of opinion on that. But I'm really proud of the players. I think their performance this season deserves a huge amount of credit. I think they've been magnificent. As I've said from day one, when I walked in the building, the ambition or the plan was to go one better. I've always felt the players were more than capable of delivering that, and ultimately I think they've done a fantastic job. And the reason we fell short, as I said, I'll have to take that on the chin, and I'll take responsibility for it, because as I said, the players have been magnificent.
Obviously, despite your own feeling, as you touched on, but it's been such a long season. There've been so many high points. I'll tell it to anyone that will listen that you've done a magnificent job here, because you've lost however many goals it was with Ollie Pearce, Joe Felix, and other top players departing. Obviously, change of manager as well. I know it's so disappointing, but I know when the dust settles, you'll probably look back on this season with an immense level of pride. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I just, as I said, it's a good thing, but I'm not used to this. So, whenever I've managed a full season from pre-season through to the last game, I've only ever had this feeling once, losing the playoff semi-final, and then the other seasons we've always finished top, which in some respects is positive because we've always been in a title race, but I'm not used to this feeling of not getting the job done. And as I said, I think the players have been tremendous. I think for us to have finished a point off top in essentially a full-time mini league as the only part-time team,
again is credit to the players. They've been superb. There's a feeling of what could have been if obviously we'd done a couple of things differently, if it was slightly more of a level playing field in terms of contact time, etc. But who knows? I think that's some of our that's something to reflect on further down the line. I'm just really disappointed. There is a feeling of failure for sure. So even though we've obviously got the record points tally and 1 point off top, it almost makes it more frustrating. You're so close. And again, I just maintain the players have been magnificent, and I think they deserved better than losing this evening. Not necessarily based on this one-off game, but I think for what they've given the club, the supporters for the last sort of 10 months, I think they deserved. They deserve that day in the sun, or their day in the sun. That's where I'm at the minute.
What I was coming to next was planning ahead, I suppose, and how, I know obviously you wouldn't have even given it a first thought, but with summer and a lot of clubs already beginning their business for summer, what are the plans moving forward? Obviously this time last year you were coming in as a fresh face and you know, getting the place excited all again to give it another shot this year. Is it what is the plan moving forward in terms of recruitment and the summer?
To be honest, I just want to crawl into a hole and not see anyone for 6 weeks. That's where I'm at the minute, and I know the players are on the same page. It's difficult to get too far ahead of it planning wise, because as I said, up until 2 weeks ago we were top of the league, and up until tonight we felt that we had a hell of a chance of going up through the playoffs. So it's two different things, planning for National League versus National League South. But what I would say is I think National League South is becoming more and more professional. I think more and more clubs are obviously taking that step towards hybrid and full-time models. So again, I think the planning for, as I said, National League South and National League is becoming, there's more crossover, because I think there's more similarities with, as I said, the direction that National League South's going. But ultimately now we know that we're going to be in the National League South again next season. It does help in terms of clarity. I need to obviously talk to the club to see what they want next season to look like, and then we can work back from that. But one thing I do know is as I said, we've finished a point off top. We're incredibly close. What we need to do is build on the best bits, iron out the not so good bits, because ultimately next season will be more difficult than this season, with Ebbsfleet coming down, potentially Maidenhead coming down, more teams in the division changing the model that they work to. I have no doubt that next season will be more challenging, which makes this season more frustrating, because I feel like it's a missed opportunity. And again, I don't think that's down to the players. I think the players have been magnificent, and that's where I need to take the hit, because we should have added another 2 points, to at least another 2 points. That's what I mean. When you come so close, you do think about the points drops. St Albans at home and Dorking last weekend, Eastbourne Borough at home. You think of those points and you think of how close we were. So the feeling is it's a missed opportunity, and I know that next season is going to become more challenging. So we need to sit down, have a conversation, and then see what it looks like. But my attitude is, as I said, the last time I lost in a playoff eliminator situation, the following season and the season after that, we finished top. So probably similar to what Hinch had when he was trying to get promoted out of Step 3, come close, and then the following seasons got curtailed because of COVID, and then I think it was probably the third or fourth season it got over the line. So obviously don't want to take that long, but my attitude is take our medicine. As I say, I'm going to crawl into that hole in the ground for the next 6 weeks maybe, but we need to, as I said, take our medicine, learn from this season, learn from ultimately why we didn't win the league and why we were 1 point short, and build on a lot of very good bits which we've done this year. And a key part of that, as I said, is the players. The players have been exceptional, so the first port of call is to try and retain those guys. But as I said, they've come so close, they've produced such a wonderful season this year, and they've produced what they have within a part-time environment. So that's going to be tough, because a lot of them have proved that what they can do in a part-time environment, well, what could they do in a National League environment full-time, for example. So that'll be a challenge. But I know the group have enjoyed this season, or so they've said. I think we've played some good football, played some exciting football, made some brilliant memories, come so close. So there's a lot to build on for sure. Cheers, Jack.